You work, you get paid, and somehow 2 weeks later, you're checking your balance and wondering where it all went. You live frugally, you follow the rules, yet you find yourself broke again. Many people carry a deep sense of guilt, believing they are bad with money. The financial ecosystem follows a specific logic. It operates as a machine built by a different generation for a different generation. And today, we're going to pull that machine apart to see who it actually serves. Over the last decade, the average cost of living has jumped by nearly 30%. In that same time frame, wages have remained almost entirely stagnant. This graph illustrates the reality of that gap. Costs for mass transit, rent, and food have climbed by double digits, while the federal minimum wage hasn't seen growth since 2009. These metrics make the traditional advice of just spend less mathematically obsolete. Gen Z inherited a different starting line. Because the floor moved, you are now navigating 4 specific structural traps built into this new economy. Trap 1 is the wage-rent mismatch. In 1980, a young adult entering the workforce could rent a 1-bedroom apartment like this and expect to spend roughly 30% of their entry-level income. The data shows how that baseline has shifted. In most cities, rent now devours nearly half an average paycheck before any other bills. Even a seemingly high wage leaves almost zero disposable income once you factor in modern survival costs like groceries, transportation, and healthcare. This gap is a structural defect. It is mathematically impossible to save your way to wealth when the baseline expenses already exceed your income. Trap 2 involves engineered debt. Credit cards and modern payment apps are designed to obscure their true cost until a consumer is already caught in the cycle. Consider the math of the current average interest rate, 22. On a $1,000 balance, making only the minimum payments stretches the payoff over 4 years. You end up paying more than $1,600 for an original $1,000 purchase. The concept of a manageable minimum payment serves as a mathematical trap. It allows institutions to collect interest for years on items you may no longer even own. Trap 3 is the information blackout. You spent over a decade in school learning trivial subjects while receiving absolutely no practical education on how the financial system actually works. Most young adults are handed complex documents like a W-2 or tax election forms without ever being given a map or context. This weaponized confusion ensures you remain a passive participant in your own financial life. Trap 4 is the loop. Social platforms are optimized to trigger stress by showing unattainable luxury, then instantly offering small purchases as a temporary cure. The economy creates the stress. Algorithms profit from your coping mechanisms, and debt creates even more stress. Identifying these structural walls allows you to stop treating them as personal failures and start treating them as technical hurdles. Frugality has a ceiling. Once you understand the traps, you can shift your focus to the only variable you can scale, building multiple income streams. Learning financial language has an immediate impact. Moving stagnant money from a standard account into a high-yield savings account earning 5% makes your money work for you, rather than just sitting idle. Financial autonomy comes from learning the language institutions use to maintain their edge and making every dollar intentional. Here is your first step. Audit your last 30 days of transactions and find the 3 largest purchases you made purely because you were stressed or overwhelmed. This judgment-free act of awareness is often enough to break the algorithmic spending loop. You cannot navigate a system you haven't mapped out. This channel is the educational manual that schools skipped. Next week, we're breaking down exactly how your credit score works and the 2 rules that will raise it faster than anything your bank will tell you. Your past struggles were the result of withheld information. Subscribing is your first act of rebellion. Welcome to Broke No More.